We gather together today as a dear family and friends of Phyllis Fishman. As we mourn her loss, must also celebrate the full, rich life she led. Death has taken our beloved Phyllis. Friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For her love that united us in life and which death cannot sever. For her companionship which we shared along life's path, which still continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and her mind which brought us joy and happiness, and now become a precious heritage of the Spirit. For all these and more, God, we give you our praise. In his sorrow, Job cried out, "Adonai natan v'nai lakach, v'hi Shem Adonai mevarach." God has given, God has taken away. Blessed be the name of God. An ancient people were well acquainted with grief and with the valley of shadows. Death and sorrow are not strangers to us, yet the centuries have taught us that a good name endures beyond the grave, and there is strength in faith. With Job we say, Adonai natan, God you have given. You gave us a loved one who will not be forgotten. For all was good and enduring in her life, we offer the deepest thanks of our hearts. A poem by Kathy Zink. Take time to talk, for you may ask of all things unknown to you. Take time to laugh, for smiles relinquish sorrow and spread happiness. Take time to think, for the realm of knowledge is never ending. Take time to see if there is beauty in every part of the world around you. Take time to feel, for the emotions of your heart often control the reasoning of your mind. Take time to live, for each day is filled with new opportunities that will be gone tomorrow. Take time to dream, for survival is forever challenging the powers of your imagination. Take time to love, for the sharing of all these things is a true miracle of life. Proverbs 31. Eshet chayil mimsa, rechok mipni mikra. A woman of valor who can find, she's more precious than fine pearls. Her husband trusts in her, and so he lacks nothing. She does him good, never harm, all the days of his life. She perceives that her labor is rewarding. Her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need, extends her hands to the poor. She's clothed in strength and dignity, and she faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom. The law of kindness is on her lips. Her family rise up and bless her. They sing her praises. Many daughters have done valiantly, but you excel them all. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing for foolishness and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. Adonai ro'i lo exar, ina desha yarbitseni, almei menachot yanachaleni. Please join me if you're familiar with the words of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and leadeth me beside the still waters, and restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. The Baal Shem Tov, the Hasidic Rebbe, once observed that there are 3 ways to mourn. The first is with tears, the second is with silence, and the third is with song. We mourn someone truly beloved, we experience all 3. Tears at first, then silence, that grief settles more deeply. And finally, song as we're able to celebrate the memories we hold deep in our hearts. So today may be a time for tears as we say our final goodbyes to Phyllis. We each remember Phyllis in her own way. Jack and Christine, Jill and John, Marcy and Mark, you will all remember Phyllis as a beloved mother. Jessie and Kelly, Joy and Will, Emily, Nicole and Posse, Brian and Megan, Aaron, Lee and Julie will all remember Phyllis as a devoted grandmother. Phyllis was an adoring great-grandmother to Abigail, Miles, Micah, Liam, Max, Zach, Sophia, Elliot, Milo, and Finn. Phyllis was a loving sister to Barbara. Throughout her life, Phyllis was a cherished wife to Irving and a caring sister-in-law to Hy, Harriet, and Joyce, and a dear aunt to her many nieces and nephews. Phyllis was born on January 14, 1929 in Brooklyn, New York, to Morris and Helen Fishman. Phyllis's family moved to Cleveland Heights when she was 12 years old. Phyllis always claimed that she had bad handwriting because they moved just as she was learning cursive writing in school. Phyllis's father owned a bedding store in Coventry. He made pillows and comforters, and Phyllis helped in the store. Well, actually, she said she didn't do too much. She just sat there and looked pretty. She was always beautiful. Phyllis's sister Barbara was 8.5 years younger, so Barbara always looked up to her, almost like a second mother. Barbara remembers sitting on the steps when Phyllis had high school sorority meetings at their house. Phyllis would yell out, "Barbara, go to sleep." The sisters shared a bedroom with twin beds. Barbara remembers watching Phyllis push up her nose at bedtime in the hopes it would give her a pug nose. Barbara was always a little sister until she finished high school, and then the girls became much closer, and their families remained close throughout the rest of their lives. Phyllis graduated Heights High. Phyllis's mother and Irving's mother knew each other, wanted them to meet. Irving happened to drop by while Phyllis was bent over gardening with her bottom up in the air. She joked that was the first thing he saw. They were married soon after she finished high school on March 14, 1948 by Rabbi Rosenthal. Jack was born the next year, and then Jill in 51 and Marcy in 56. Barbara remembers babysitting for Jack and Jill. They gave her the nickname Aunt Bobby, which stuck. Phyllis was a loving mom and taught her children how to be loving parents. She was a wonderful housekeeper. Phyllis loved to cook and had a schedule for dinners every night. She made a meatloaf with a hot dog or an egg inside, or the kids' favorite, macaroni noodles with ketchup and butter. Phyllis made the best balinces and noodle kugel. Thursday nights were always hot dogs, which she still loved, with pickles for dinner at Stone Gardens. But the highlight of the week were her Friday night Shabbat dinners with delicious brisket or chicken. Phyllis loved to play mahjong, and Marcy liked to eat the candy that Phyllis put out for the group of ladies that came over to play. She was involved in their school PTA. When the kids got older, Phyllis worked as a receptionist at Andre Duval Hairdressers. She liked to collect owls and other little tchotchkes. Phyllis and Irving enjoyed traveling together. They went to Cedar Point in the summer and to a condo in Cancun in the winter. Irving loved it so much, every winter he would book it again for the next year. They went to Disney World together and even waited in line for Space Mountain. When they got off, they saw a sign that the ride was not recommended for people with a heart condition. Irving said, "We should have seen that before we got on." Phyllis made picnics at the house. She helped Irving garden. They enjoyed going out to dinner, as you called it, Date Night USA. Phyllis took wonderful care of Irving. They took wonderful care of each other. They were so in love. After Irving died, it was hard for Phyllis. Phyllis's cat Sammy was her buddy and brought her a lot of comfort. And Phyllis had many friends and enjoyed going out to the movies and a bite to eat, or out to dinner with Barbara and Dick. Every Saturday, Jill took her mother to the hairdresser, and then Marcy would meet them for lunch at Austin's Brio, Bravo, or Panera. When the grandchildren were little, they used to enjoy going to lunch with Grandma Phyllis at the Pewter Mug or Inner Circle at Laplace. Phyllis adored her grandchildren. They all loved their Grandma Phyllis. They were fortunate to grow up with her. Lee was a finicky eater when he was young. He didn't like his hot dogs made on the grill because it got those lines. Grandma taught him to wrap the hot dog in a paper towel, cook it in the microwave. So whenever his mom made him a hot dog he didn't like, he said, "I like how Grandma makes it." Nicole called her grandma often from Seattle. During their last call, Nicole asked, "Grandma, do you want me to come in?" And Phyllis said, "Yes, I do." Nicole flew right in and got to see Phyllis. Phyllis told Nicole, "I know I will see Irving soon." I hope you will all remember Phyllis's red lipstick. Picture the beautiful imprint of her lips on your cheeks whenever she planted a kiss on you. Although she's now physically gone, her mark in your life will always be with you, just like that lipstick stain. So today may be a time for tears, and we are saddened by the loss of Phyllis, but we learn much from her, especially how to care for one another. Let these tears serve to strengthen and uphold you as a family. There's a story in our tradition about a rabbi who once passed an old woman planting trees. "Woman," he called, "why are you planting those trees? You'll never live to see them blossom." But the woman replied, "My ancestors planted trees, not for themselves but for us, that we might enjoy their shade and their fruit. I too do the same for all those who come after me." Phyllis planted an orchard for each one of us, an orchard filled with devotion and with love, and these will always be here for us. We must be grateful that we're able to share in Phyllis's life. Tomorrow there'll be fewer tears, more silence. As the Baal Shem Tov noted, it will be a time for pondering, a time for contemplation. Phyllis will become a greater part of our characters and our beings as we integrate the memories and the values she taught us into our own selves. But finally there'll come a time for song. Time will come we can celebrate Phyllis and recall all that we learned from her and how she touched each of our lives. May she rest in peace. Zecher Tzedakah Livracha. May the memory of Phyllis Fishman be a blessing. Let us all say Amen. I'd now like to invite Aaron to come forward and share some personal words about his grandmother.
Crossing the moat. Hi. Mask on. Everybody, you want me to keep it on? Okay. How's everybody doing today? So, I'm Aaron. I'm Phyllis's grandson, and my Uber is about 3 minutes away, so I'll make this quick. I've been told that I have a sense of humor, and I want to thank my mom and dad for that. But I want to thank this woman here, and that's up there, for letting me use it on her over and over and over again. I love joking on my grandma Phyllis, and I don't know why to this day after 41 years on this earth. She didn't need it. She had a light inside of her that did not need any more brightening. It did not need my stupidity to try to make it even brighter. And I tried and tried and tried, and she weathered it till the very end. So I love her for that and many other reasons. I mean, it's not a great day, right? These aren't fun times. I've cried my share of tears about losing her, but I mean, I just smiled a lot when I got here, which is probably weird, but I think just because I saw her do it so much in life, and just thinking about her smiling made me smile, which I think is the purest possible quality a human could possess. So I hope that I got some of that from her. 92 years, I'll take it. We were lucky to have her that long. I know I was. I thank my mom, I thank my Auntie Jill, I thank my Uncle Jackie, and my dad, and my Auntie Chris and John for doing everything they could to make sure we got her for that long. And after Grandpa Irving passed, she carried on for literally almost a quarter of her life. I can't fathom the strength it takes to have a girlfriend for a year, let alone be with someone for that long and love them until the very end, and then find a way to go on that much longer without them. So she did it because that's just how tough she was. That's who she was, and that's how much she loved all of us to be with us. So Sergio with 4.7 stars is about here And I want to make this promise to my grandma that one day I'll fool some woman into being with me again and we'll come say hi to you. So thank you, Grandma. I love you very much, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your words. Now we're going to call on Joy to share a letter from her sister Emily, who couldn't be here today. Here, coming around.
Knowing that she couldn't be here breaks my heart even more than it's broken today, but there goes nothing. Dear Grandma, I wasn't ready to say goodbye. I obviously knew that this day would come. And when I came back a couple weeks ago, I knew it could be the last time. But I don't think it registered entirely that you'd be gone. I convinced myself that I would visit you again. Would I bring you a treat, and we'd go for another walk. I still imagine you at all the future milestones for me, for your other grandchildren, children, and all the great-grandchildren too. But I know you'll be there. And every holiday, party, graduation, wedding, we're going to miss your knowing smile and those lipstick-stamped cheeks. I'm trying to remember exactly when I realized how special you were, but I can't. Probably because I always knew it. It might have been when I slept over at your house. I remember you taking me out to see one of the Harry Potter movies, and then we got the best ice cream sundae ever at McDonald's. And it was good, but the best part was that it was with you. Or maybe it was when you invited me for a special birthday lunch downtown to celebrate Auntie Marcy and my shared birthdays. And I always felt so grown up eating at Schuber's and shopping at Tower City. I so look forward to lunch and shopping with you, Auntie Jill, and Auntie Marcy every year. It might have been one Sunday when I crashed one of your brunches with Dad, remembering how gross I thought the lox was at first, and how you always had Tang orange juice in your fridge just for me. Maybe it was in college when I wasn't feeling well and you sent me a loaf of banana bread. I can't pick out the exact instant I knew you were special, because you always were. As the youngest of your grandkids, I feel like I missed out on getting to know a lot of amazing people in our family, not the least of which was Grandpa. You were ready to join him. You told us so. But I was glad you stuck around so I could get to know you. Thank you for your humor and wit, your beauty, your friendship, and most importantly for your love. I'm sorry that we're greedy and we keep wishing for more time. For one more phone call or one more story, for one more walk. You lived a long and beautiful life, so full of so many people who loved you so much. But 92 years doesn't feel like long enough for someone as special as you. Give Aunt Iris, Aunt Harriet, Fred, Uncle Hi, Uncle Julius, and Grandpa Irving my love. Thank you for always being there for me. I love you. I will miss you dearly until I see you again. Emily. Thank you.
Thank you for your beautiful words. Thank you, Emily. Let's all pause for a moment of silence as we each remember Phyllis in our own hearts. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination. But life is a journey, a going, a growing from stage to stage. From childhood to maturity and youth to age. From innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing. From foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom. From weakness to strength or strength to weakness and often back again. From health to sickness and back we pray to health again. From offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, Until looking backward or ahead, we seek victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination. But life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage made stage by stage to life everlasting. Amen. If you are able, please rise now for El Malay Rachamim. Hold on to the chairs. El Malay Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona Taka Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kitoshim Atehorim, Kazor Harakia Mazirim, Et Nishmat, Fegel Bat Moshe Lev Vahinda, Shalacha La'olama, Bal Harachamim, Retu B'Seter Kinafav La'olamim, V'Yitzrar B'Yitzrar Chachaim Et Nishmatam, And Anayhu Nachalata, V'Tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkavam, V'Nomar. Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our beloved Phyllis Fishman, known in our tradition as Fegel Bat Moshe Lev, daughter of Moshe Lev Vahinda, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us all say, Amen. We're going to pause now for them to lower the coffin and place it.
You want to step back?
You five all step
Okay, I
back.
just want to say something.
Oh, careful. Should I move back? Ours? Alright.
Early or late, all must answer the summons to return to the source of being. We lose our hold on life when our time has come. The leaf falls from the bough when its day is done. The deeds of the righteous enrich us all as the fallen leaf enriches the soil beneath. The dust returns the earth, but the spirit lives on with God. Like the stars by day, our beloved dead are not seen by mortal eyes, but they shine on forever. Theirs is eternal peace. Let us be thankful for the companionship it continues in our hearts, in our minds, and with God. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember her. In the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, we remember her. In the opening of buds and the rebirth of spring, we remember her. In the rustling of leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember her. In the beginning of a year when it ends, we remember her. We are weary and in need of strength, we remember her. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember her. So long as we live, she too shall live, for she is now part of us as we remember her.
You want to do Kaddish and then the group? Which one?
We'll do the earth. I'll do the earth first. So it's our tradition to place some earth in the coffin. So last act of devotion, we can show to Phyllis there's nothing she can do to her hands. And we see the first hands that cover the coffin should be hands of loving family.
I know.
So you could use your hands, and that's where you're not touching a shovel and passing it from one, and you could
You know,
just place it on the casket.
You can see what I should do. I'll do the cottage
Immediate,
first.
immediate family first.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Do some earth and then we'll
Watch your
recite the
step,
cottage
watch your
together.
step.
Watch your step.
What do I do?
Just a handful, and then you could place it on the casket.
Like this?
Yeah, just like that.
Throw it?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can come back in, the family that, you can come back in here so we can do Kaddish and we'll let some other family come forward.
And then grandchildren after.
Mark has to face
Okay, Jill and Marcy and Jack, come back over here and we'll let the grandchildren do some earth and we'll get ready for Kaddish.
Grandchildren's on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And watch your step.
Very nice. Very good.
Joy, you want to do a handful for Emily? I know other people in quarantine, other grandkids, if you want to do for your siblings that are not able to be here today, you can do a handful for them as well.
Okay. Get out of here now. That's John.
The kids.
Yeah. I'll do it for Brian and the one that's the least stable.
They do it for Mindy too.
Yeah, do it for me.
Lee.
Kelly, I didn't even see you. Thank you for being here. John?
Lee.
I do it for this is for Nicole. This is for Brian.
Lee.
This is for Megan. And this is for Patsy. Oh,
Okay.
okay, is that all right?
Oh, you're fired.
Right, right.
This is for Max. I'm gonna use one third. This is for Zach. Sophia. Elliot.
There. One more.
Who?
Lee's gonna do.
Thank so much for allowing me to do
Julie and
this. I was getting pretty good. Mommy.
Julie. Then Miles is gonna have to be a big handful because he would add a shovel, I think.
Well, he loved Grandma. They love Grandma
Yeah.
Phyllis. She deserves it.
Okay, now we're going to join the Kaddish on your cards. And join together. Yit Gadal, Yit Gadal, Shnei Rabba. B'yamad, Yivrach, Yerute, B'yamlich, B'achute. B'chayachon, U'yomechon, U'chayedaho, Beit Yisrael. B'gala, U'bizman, Kari, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei, Shemei, Rabba, Mivarach, Me'olam, Olamei, Amaya. Yit Barach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yitroman, V'yitaseh. V'yitadar, V'yitalel, V'yitalal, Shemeda Kudisha, Barichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Damiran b'yama v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Osei shalom b'romav. V'yasei shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May God grant peace to those who mourn and comfort all bereaved among us, and let us all say, Amen. Lech Kishalach Adonai, go your way, for God has called you. Lech Fanai Yamach, go your way, and may God be with you. V'halach levanecha sitecha kavod Adonai yaspecha. May your righteousness go before you. May the memory of your life ever be present in the hearts and minds of all those who know you and love you, and may the glory of God precede you.